the manhunt for a person of interest in the brazen shooting death of the United Healthcare's CEO. Law enforcement is now questioning a man in custody in Altoona, Pennsylvania, in connection with the murder. Tom Hansen shares more.
Authorities in Pennsylvania are questioning a person of interest in connection to the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
He matches the description of the identification we've been looking for.
The man, identified as 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, was arrested at an Altoona McDonald's Monday morning on firearms charges after an employee called in a tip. Officials say Mangione was carrying a ghost gun and a silencer.
Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into his New York City hostel before the shooting incident.
Officials have combed through thousands of hours of video since the targeted attack in front of a Midtown hotel last week, deploying drones, K-9 units, and scuba divers in Central Park. Dive teams scoured a pond in the park looking for more evidence after finding a backpack they believe belonged to the shooter in the area, containing a jacket and Monopoly money. Police believe the shooter headed to the Port Authority's bus station near the George Washington Bridge after ditching the bike he used to flee the scene of the crime.
This investigation is still active and ongoing.
Police say they've recovered a handwritten 3-page document from the person in custody indicating he had some ill will towards corporate America. They're also scrubbing his social media accounts as the investigation continues.
Officials say Mangione was born and raised in Maryland and has ties to San Francisco. He attended college in Pennsylvania. His last known address was in Honolulu, Hawaii. He has no prior arrest history in New York.
That is worth 10.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Once it is like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. Something I was watching. I was watching this. This is the best one that I saw. It's something short, simple, to the point. Everybody and their mama should know about this incident that took place. Something crossed my mind. Even the first day that it happened, it crossed my mind. And the first thing that crossed my mind is, what if they're doing all this, knowing that the people are going to take matters into their own hand, which makes a lot of sense. In other words, when Esau does certain things, he don't do it just to let it happen. The very rich of the society, pretty much, they sit as the untouchables. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. Get this scripture out the way. Sirach 13 and I saw that 16. So all flesh consorted according to kind, a man would cleave to his like. So there's no true intermingling with anything, because you go with you're familiar with. All right, the rich stays with the rich, and the poor stuck. But the rich does not want nothing to do with the poor. Now, it says, "What fellowship have a wolf with a lamb? So the sinner with the godly." So, does a wolf and a lamb can fellowship? No. Why? Because the wolf sees the lamb as a prey. Now, this guy, Mangione, the shooter, who did this act, and the key thing was that he had in his book bag Monopoly money. Now, why did he have the Monopoly money? Which is an inside joke to show the world, like, look, this is all a joke, right? But he sees it clearly. Now, why would they put this on television once again? They put this on television to... Everything's predictive programming. Everything's set up. Like the whole, January 6th bullshit. That was just for them to pass laws for any sort of insurrection or any sort of uprising the government has. Sorry, I always say this. They cook things in the book. All right. Knowing that two different species of animals have two different manners. It's the same way the rich sees the poor. So what agreement is there between a hyena and a dog? None. What peace between the rich and the poor? There's none. There's no peace between the rich and the poor. The rich feed off the poor. All right? The rich feed off the poor. That's why in this society, they tell you it's about capitalism, it's about you making money, da-da-da-da. But there's always a pyramid scheme. In reality, I remember Pastor Tal brought it out. When you look up the feudalism, the main thing that always come in mind is Japan. The Japanese feudalism thing, so which is the overlord, the serf. That's it. I think that's about it. So the overlord is over everybody. You got your vassals, which are the representation of the overlords, and you have the serf, which are the servants. So somebody like this, he's just a vassal of some sort. Middleman, middle ground. It's just like you go to McDonald's, you're not gonna go talk to the man. You're not gonna talk to the CEO of McDonald's, every single McDonald's. You're gonna go to the manager if you have some type of dispute. So they leave these people in between, so that way, when people are angry, people go take their anger and frustrations on them. They can be touched real quick. Let me get this out the way. Sirach 12:3. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble." And who are the keepers of the house? These lower elites. They are part of the elites. That's why they are in the prominent positions in society to maintain the illusion and to maintain their power. And as we know, if they come out of place, they be taken out. Publicly, non-public, however. But they are kept and stored for that they can be easily touched. That's why you have governors, mayors, and so forth. You had, what's his name? The president of Syria. He just got ousted, right? But he got ousted. They've been wanting to oust him out. And now the rebel leader is taking over. But that was the president. How can they let that happen? Because he can be touched. What's his name? The royal family that got taken out in Russia. Was it the Tsars? Nicholas Tsars is title. But Tsar Nicholas, I believe, and his whole family. What happened? The small hatters started up a revolution over there. Got the minds of the people, and the people went after the royal family and killed them. Same thing they did with Gaddafi. They are in prominent position, but they could be easily touched. So the keepers of the house, the people that maintain this illusion, is going to be in great fear when all shit hits the fan. All right? It says, "Shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinding cease, because they are few, and those that look at the windows be darkened," which is the future. The future is dark for everybody, literally, because the Lord is about to destroy. Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is about to destroy this whole entire system. Let me go back to this. It says, verse 19. "As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor, and the proud hate humility, so doeth the rich abhor the poor." It says, "A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends." So this is the main thing that I wanted to kind of focus on. We're going to get this real quick. And what movie should come into everybody's mind? It says Micah 2:1. Woe to him that devises iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And we all know that's talking about laws being pushed. So when one movie comes to mind, The Purge. The Purge was basically, you could go after anybody except people in prominent position. So would it be a shocker? Would it be a turn of event if the reason why they allow this man to get clipped is to protect the very rich? Now they have done this before. Okay, if you go into the history of before that, was it NAWCP, which was by the Small Hatters. Prior to the beginning of the ADL, you had Leo Frank, who raped a girl and killed her. When the people of North Carolina find out, because they had a pencil factory, and they didn't really, or automatically they didn't like them. They never liked them anyway, that whole family. But what was the key thing about the Leo Frank situation was Leo Frank, Small Hatter, raped, but at the beginning they blame it on a Jake. They blame it on a Jake that the girl got killed. But then when they investigated the Jake, this is the 1930s or something like that. I'm not gonna look it up because I just want to just hit the point. When they investigated it, they talked to him. They investigated him. He said, "Nah, he didn't do it. This guy did it." So they automatically went after him. This is the first case ever that they didn't just hang a nigga. They took a nigga's word. And when that happened, they took street justice into their own hands. So he got hung. He went to court. They didn't even allow. Matter of fact, I don't even think he went to court. They didn't even allow him to do anything. They just took him from the back of the jail cell, took his ass and hung him. This is the only quote-unquote white man that was hung in the South. Now, I bring that up for what reason? After that, they enforced this whole thing called the Anti-Defamation League, which was really a cover-up for the elites. But they cooked it in the books so that way you can never talk ill towards Small Hatters. Okay? And at the time, you gotta watch the documentary. All the major newspapers at the time was totally against what happened to Leo Frank. And basically they wanted to put that as they were the biggest victims in the world. Go figure, it's the same shit that they do to this day. So we won't be surprised if they utilize this to show you that, look, people with money need to be heavily protected. All right? Don't be surprised. James 2:6. But ye have despised the poor. Do not the rich man oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? So he's a big CEO of a company that's ripping millions of people off. And the people obviously haven't had enough. One way or another, people's going to take matters into their own hands. And that's the key. All right? And when people realize what's really going on, who's really behind the travesty, because he's part of a corporation that is a $1 trillion industry off of the sicknesses of men and women and children. All right? No cures for nothing. Just straight up oppression. Okay? So they're just trying to draw the sympathy of the people So when things go sour, which it will go, that they could be protected. They have laws cooked up for themselves. That's why going back to Sirach 13 and 21, a rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends in high places. They will cook up certain things to make sure that they protected at every cost. All right? But the poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. When a rich man is fallen, he have many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. And that goes for everybody with a celebrity crush. You got Jay-Z. We don't know if it's true or not, but he's finally getting the recognition of being wicked. That we'll see if it's turn. You see what they did to P. Diddy? All right, they justify all these mother effers when it was their time, and as before they get the court of they call it the court of public court, when people decide to judge a matter themselves, is running supreme, and people come up with whatever narrative that's being pushed. That's exactly what's going on. It says, but the poor man slipped, and yet they rebuke him too. He speak wisely and could have no place. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. Hey, just like Trump. Trump is a prime example. Despite Trump's political side, whatever, everybody, all those that people on that side, either you love him or hate him, but you'll listen to him. You listen to the bullshit that comes out of his mouth. All right. It says, "Holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith, that he exalt it to the clouds. But if a poor man speak," that's why the average American, the average Babylonian, feel that their voice is being taken away from them. Their voice is being taken away from them. That's what they feel. All right? And it says, "But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they'll help overthrow him." So we living in a society that's truly have no sort of justice at all. But like I stated through the Spirit, they might be doing this to cook these things in the book in order to protect these lower, not the lower elites, the top-notch people, which the lower elites is going to have some sort of benefits. Which you go in that scripture, 2 Ezra 15. Is it 27? Slack, yeah. 2 Ezra 15, and I want to get to the point. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and should not regard their kings nor princes. The course of their action shall stand in their power," because people are going to lose it. They're going to lose it. They're going to take matters into their own hands. All right? And it's going to happen. There will be a great rebellion. No books, no laws are going to protect the rich. But like I stated, when you watch the movie The Purge, you can hear exactly what they say about the purge. Who's protected, who can be harmed, and so forth. So with that being said, I'm something real quick to the Spirit. Shalom to the elect of the nation. Shalom.